Welcome back to Mountain Connections. I am going to cuddle in this nice blanket and, I'm just going to do my thing. Actually, I'm here with Blankets by Brian. Brian Severson is here in studio, and it basically just threw up blankets right here, but this is so soft, so warm. You've got some great products, great deals coming up for this weekend, Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So let's just start at the beginning.
I feel like this is my fun inaugural launch for Park City and Heber and the Wasatch Mountains and stuff. I love it.
It absolutely is. And
I'm up here all the time. I have some family and friends, but I'm up here all the time, so I'm excited to now be a part of Park City TV.
Well, and I already adore your product.
Oh,
I'm a
thank
big
you.
fan.
It's kind of addicting.
It really is. I'm just going to keep,
yeah.
Cuddling up in this nice blanket.
Yeah.
So how did you start?
So basically, I have always loved to sew. Growing up, my two best friends were my grandmas. And the one grandma liked to sew a lot, and the other grandma did a lot of crocheting and needlework and stuff like that. And what we would do is she would make our lunch, we'd put our little TV tray out, we'd eat our sandwiches, and then we'd crochet and sew all day while we were watching Lucy and, Doris Day movies and the old Pink Panther movies with Peter Sellers and stuff. And it just became such a unique connection for me, because I loved my grandmas and I loved what we were doing. And then a little bit later, after my grandma was too old to sew anymore, she gave me her World War II sewing machine. And it's the very last all-metal Singer sewing machine ever made in the country. Then they went to start using plastic parts and stuff, but this is a workhorse. It goes and goes and goes, and I couldn't stand watching it sit in the corner. So I started doing blankets.
I can very much relate. My mom, my grandmother, they sewed. My mom had an old antique Singer. I believe it was all metal, but I'm going to have to verify that.
Yeah.
There's something about sewing that is inspiring. It brings people together.
I find it incredibly relaxing.
It really is.
Yeah, I love it. And I'm a one-man band, so everything you see here is made by me.
Wow.
I have no employees. And I love it.
You're kidding.
Yeah, I love it. I love working and I love sewing, and so it's a great deal of pleasure to watch people receive the blankets, because every single one's made by me.
Oh, that's just incredible, because I'm sure this is just a small, tiny sample of what you have. And look at all of this.
I know. I felt a little guilty about bringing too many, but since this was my first show, I wanted to make sure that people understood that I have a lot of variety. I definitely gravitate towards the neutrals because I kind of consider my store a little bit more adult and decor oriented for people decorating. But of course, I do like to do every now and then some fun colors, kid colors, and quite honestly, even the adults like to take colors, maybe on trips or whatever, and do some color.
Well, and I can tell just by how this blanket feels, the weight, the size. You have very high standards, but what sets you apart from other blanket companies and blanket producers?
So that is precisely what sets me apart. These fabrics, you'll hear an all over, it's called minky or faux fur products. Now these are washable products. There's different kinds of faux furs with acrylic that are dry clean. All of mine are 100% washable, and this makes them incredibly durable. Now minky materials made all over the world, and I get them from distributors out of California. But my standards are really high. I have bolts and bolts of fabric in my studio that I just won't put on my website because they just didn't meet the standard. Either they were soft when I got it, but after a washing they weren't. And so because I don't have a brick and mortar store, I know that I have to keep a really high standard so that when a customer buys something from me, they know it's 100% super soft.
Well, I wish that viewers could reach through their screen and feel this. I can't stop.
I gave you the very softest one because it is translated through the screen because you can't stop petting it, and you wanna just keep squishing it in your hands. It's so soft.
And I have to say, I've gotten some blankets and it's been a little disappointing. They've either just shed so much I have to get rid of them, or they're a lot smaller, or you wash them and they don't look good. So it's nice to know that you have such great quality.
Yes, in fact I was so excited about a new fabric, and it shed and shed and shed. No matter how many times I washed it, it kept shedding, so I had to pull it right out. And yeah, I don't want them to shed. Like, I have a dog. I don't need more shedding.
Exactly. I really So let's dig into your
Yeah.
products. You have some very unique products.
Yeah,
And I
so-
feel like you've thought of everything.
The three newest fabrics are or the four newest fabrics are right here behind me. But the thing that I'm super excited about this year is the travel blanket. And I'll just kind of do a quick example. You can see that this is just a pocket. It looks more maybe like a pillow, but you've just got a simple blanket here, and people are surprised that this is going to unfold into a full-size blanket. So what you have here is the pocket, and then it unfolds into a full-size blanket. You can see that that is going to cover the average person, probably about up to 6 feet tall. And then you just take that pocket and you stuff it literally inside the blanket. So while you're using it, it
wow.
really, really does turn into
So nice.
just a basic blanket. So you can just use that
To use it as
like a regular
blanket.
blanket. People
as a
love them
pillow
in
if
the
you want
movie
to.
theaters, airplanes, hotels. I had a bunch of friends that called me from their trip and said, we're loving our blankets on our trip because the hotel doesn't have nice, soft, cozy blankets, so they used them as pillows and blankets in their hotel. But then, obviously, if you're in a movie theater, you're going to be in trouble, or you could be in trouble if you couldn't fold it back up. And these blankets really do fold up in just seconds. You pull that pocket right back out. I picked one of the squishier the fabric. Sometimes it takes just
That's
a
so nice
little
to know,
bit
'cause
more.
You're waiting for a flight. Maybe you have to roll
Yeah.
it up really quick. You don't have extra time when
Right.
it's time to board to mess with your blanket.
Some people
so-
find it easier to fold it up this way. I find it easier to use a table, but you know what? A table's not always handy
No,
by
but look
next
at
to me.
that.
And so within just a few seconds, you can pull that pocket back outside of the blanket. Then you pull this together so this is how typically, I'm going to just show you really quick, this is how typically a blanket's going to come. It comes with this one little ring on here and that. And then what we've got over here is the blanket upgrade. This
So
is
you
called,
can, if you have that kind, you can just grab a carabiner. If
Yeah,
you wanna
really
hook it
anything.
to your luggage or hook it to
I
your
had a
purse.
friend that said, I don't need this upgrade because the ring's fine. I have tons of things that I can hook it on thing. One time I hooked mine on my belt loop because we were going into a outdoor concert. So I just hooked it on my belt loop. Yeah.
Smart. But you have options.
This is the handle upgrade.
Nice.
And what you get with the travel handle upgrade is basically another carabiner. You get that second ring. So now you have 2 rings. And the reason why I did that is because overwhelmingly my clients were asking for the purse option. So you can carry it in and out like this. This would obviously fit over a luggage handle, obviously over your shoulder, anything you want.
You know, and here in Park City, we're always a little chilly.
Yeah.
So it's great to have this option. Just grab it to go.
I have a friend that's never warm and she has one in her car. So she uses it in the car all the time.
Oh, that's smart.
And now, one thing that inspired this whole travel blanket idea was I kept seeing people go into the movie theater with these giant blankets,
Holding
and they
their-
were strung all over the place, and they were carrying them in, and I'm like,
I've
wow,
seen
this is
that.
becoming a whole thing where people take blankets now to
Yeah.
the movie theaters, and I thought, there's got to be a better way.
And
So
you
this
found a
was
better way.
my idea, yeah.
Perfect. And you have some other great options and products you've
Yeah.
thought of.
I like to call myself a blanket reinventor, or on my website, I jokingly call myself a blanket artisan because I
agree
want
with
to, whenever anybody asks me for something, I immediately, the wheels start turning and I try to figure it out. So here what we've got is just another full-size blanket. And just as a FYI, everything comes in both options, travel blankets or regular blankets. You can get it however you want. But somebody said, my feet keep falling out at the end of my blanket. So right here on the end,
You have a pocket
got-
for your feet.
it's called a foot pocket upgrade.
Oh, I
And so
love it.
every blanket has this option. You can have it or not have it. It's a really small piece, just triangle piece fabric that I sew onto one corner. And then basically what you're going to do, I know that you probably can't see it from my point of view, but you're basically just throwing it down. And then you're hooking your feet in there. And then when your dogs or your kids climb on top of you, your feet don't
You don't have
fall
to
out.
readjust. and
Yeah, yeah.
You're nice and cozy.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, these are just great. And you've got some other products. You have a fur coat.
Well,
behind
yeah,
us.
on my website, they're going to be called wraps. That was inspired mostly because of people in wheelchairs. They have, anybody that's going to be sitting has a hard time keeping a blanket up around your shoulders, right? So this was the idea. My father-in-law needed something, and so we created that wrap. And he had a smaller blanket for his lap, and then he put the wrap around his shoulders to keep him warm. And they come in all kinds of fun colors. Again, it comes in any of the style of fabrics, but then you can do something with a camo print. That's a wrap. Anything like that. It's just all kinds of different things. I'm obsessed with blankets, if you can't tell. And now my obsession has turned into a business.
Well, and this quality is incredible.
Thank you.
And it's just, you know that you're going to get something that everyone's going to love. And
Yeah.
it's great to give as a gift. Speaking of which,
Yes.
you have some codes just for Park City
Right.
Television viewers, just for this weekend.
Sure, so I'm going to give you guys the first taste of what my Thanksgiving Day specials will be. And what we're going to do is the bunny line here that you're wrapped up in, and then the 3 colors, actually there's 4 or 5 colors. I had no idea how popular this was going to be, and my distributors already sold out. So the fabric that I have currently in stock is it. So I put a whole bunch on pre-order that won't be here until January, so you can still use the sale towards that. But the ones that I do have in stock are clearly labeled still in stock, and then when I'm out, and we'll have to just do pre-orders. But that special is you're going to save up to about $125 to $165 per blanket on that with the code NEWBUNNY.
New bunny.
Yeah, that's the one for that one. I have to do 2 different sales because the other one is going to be a little bit longer, Thanksgiving Day, Black Friday sale, and it's basically 25% off everything in the store. There's a couple exceptions like pillows, but everything in the store is 25% off, free shipping, plus you get the free matching scarf. As you can see up here on the display, you'll see that all the blankets are paired with a similar style but different colored scarf. I will match your scarf. The scarf, free shipping and 25% off, comes with every blanket that you order.
Your website where all this information is, and it's
Blankets.
the only place to shop your blankets.
Yeah, blanketsbybrian.com. Blanketsbybrian.com. Someday I'll have a
Easy to
theme song.
remember. Yeah. Oh, next time.
Yeah, maybe next
Come
time.
back and perform.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Brian, for being here
Oh,
today
thank
and
you,
bringing
Christine.
just your exceptional product.
Thank you
It's
so
been really
much.
fun to hear about your passion.
Oh, thank you. I love it. Thank you.
All right, check out Blankets by Brian online. Get all your shopping done. No one is going to be sad. They're going to love your gift. They're going to remember it. It's going to be handy and cozy, which is exactly what you want, and the quality is top notch. All right, we have more coming up right after this. Stay tuned.